On Unicast, you are with Brendan Cooper on yet another Saturday Sessions. And I am pleased to have on the phone with me right now Simon Ridley from Brisbane two-piece thrash outfit, DZ Deathrays. How are you, Simon?
Hey, good, thanks, man. How are you?
Not going too bad today, thank you. Hey, now first off, I couldn't find much out about you guys. I was looking all over the internet and all my sources and shit, and I really couldn't find out much about you dudes other than that you started in 2008. And I only really first heard about you through The Mess Up, that track you released a few years back. And since then, you've exploded and released your studio album. You've been touring all over the place. So
Yeah.
I read you started a house party. Now, just before anything, where the hell did your DZ Deathrays come from?
As in, like, before we even started the band for playing house parties and stuff?
Yeah, like how did it all come up?
Well, Shane and I had been playing in another band. I was playing guitar in that one, and then we lost our drummer. So then I kind of just decided to play drums, keep it as a two-piece. And then, that was pretty much it. We just decided to start up playing at house parties.
So you just picked up drums, like, screw it, let's just pick up the drumsticks.
Yeah. Well, I just started learning, and then it was just easier that way, I think. It's really hard to find a drummer.
Fair enough. If you can't get anyone else to do it yourself, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, now I could be wrong, but you've only sort of really started to kill it on the music scene for the last couple of years. You've played a couple South by Southwest this year as well. We'll get to that a bit later. You've also toured Europe and the UK, the US, as I said, and you've played with a shitload of massive bands and dropped your album, Bloodstreams, just last week. How's it all been? Have you sort of had a chance to step back and look how the last few years have gone?
Yeah, it's been getting pretty crazy recently, but it's kind of all just been, I guess, started off with incremental sort of steps, and just slowly but surely getting to a point where the band is starting to become like people have heard about it. It's still weird, for us to get on all these tours and stuff like that.
Bit different from playing house parties, I suppose.
Yeah, it's definitely surpassed our expectations.
So you've supported Foo Fighters, Unknown Mortal Orchestra, Crystal Castles, and a shitload of other great bands. Any standout shows you'll never really forget? I suppose.
I guess the first show that we did with Crystal Castles in Melbourne was probably one of the most memorable ones.
That was our
very
hectic.
first. We're really big fans of those guys, and that was our very first show that we really, like, our first tour that we've ever done. Mm-hmm. And so, like, we went from playing to like 100 people in Brisbane to like a sold out 1,000-person show down in Melbourne for the very first time we'd ever played there. So that was pretty fun. Mm-hmm. And then that when we did those Foo Fighter shows, that was just ridiculous.
Did you get to meet Dave Grohl and the Tenacious D boys?
Yeah, we got to meet all of them. And everyone was so nice on that tour. It was incredible. Like, everybody was nice on there. Even like all the stagehands, all the techs. It was incredible. That's
a nice surprise because you sort of do, hate to say it, but expect big bands like that to be kind of dickheads, I suppose.
I know. I never really find that it's the bands that are dicks. It's more just like the techs, because they're tired and they've been touring for so long, and they're the ones that don't get to sleep. So this tour, everyone was just so happy and so nice. It was really, really good.
Good way to get into the music industry, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're touring with those guys, you get your own like food, tent, and everything. It's pretty sweet.
Oh, sweet free food. You can't go past that.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And now speaking of shows, what is that your gig at South by Southwest got pulled off for being too loud? What happened there?
Well, it was the very first one off the bat, and it was in the convention center that we were playing, and so we showed up, and then it turned out it was like an acoustic stage. And
kind of not what you guys are about.
Yeah, not really. So we just decided to do what we always do, and then this time it only happened to last 3 songs before they turned up the power to the stage and just said,
"Oh wow!"
They couldn't let us do any more, otherwise the venue was going to call the police. Texan police are pretty intimidating guys.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Swamp People and all those crappy shows. Like, can imagine.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty full on. So on the topic of, I suppose, loud, you've been back in Australia and you've since released your debut studio album, Bloodstreams, finally, after all these years. It's loud, it's brittle, it sounds like a party, and it's pretty damn impressive all up. Have you heard much about how it's doing?
I I think so far everyone seems to be pretty positive about it, which is awesome. I think we had a little trouble with distribution, but I think everyone's pretty much getting their hands on it now, which is good.
That's good. That's good. So you haven't really heard? Have you had mates saying like, "Oh man, yeah, I saw a few people buy it down at the local record store" or anything like that? Don't hear much.
We've had people post on like Facebook, stuff about it, but that's pretty much that's it.
The extent of what you hear, sort of just hoping, I suppose.
Yeah.
Have you had time to celebrate?
We did. We had an album launch party, and we had some friends from a band called Bloodstreams come and play at it, which was cool. But other than that, it's kind of just touring as usual.
Yeah, why not? You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
So you've released a bunch of EPs over the years. So how different was it putting together an entire album, especially recording with Richard Pearce from PVT? I heard you guys are fans of PVT.
Yeah. Well, it was really different considering, like the first EP we just did at a friend's bedroom and as demos, and they ended up getting released. Then the second EP most of it was recorded at a house party.
Oh, really?
And then we did one studio track. No, sorry, two. On that EP with Neil Koontz, who is the engineer on the album. And then, to do an actual full album, it was a lot different. We were up there for 13 days. And it's just this guy's house, Neil's, and he's got like a studio in the basement.
Yeah.
And the mixer up in the attic, and we just slept in the lounge room on the middle floor. And then, and Richard came up and was really good. Yeah.
Nice, man. So that was November, I think you were recording that one? November-ish?
Yeah, I think it was November. Yeah, it was. We just got back from England in October.
Yeah, so obviously, and it did come out on the 6th, I believe, Good Friday, so just over a week ago now. Uh-huh. Yeah, okay, so the first single off the record is No Sleep, and I'm sure everyone's heard that by now. We have been playing it a fair bit on the station. And now, for the listeners who haven't really seen the official video clip, it's a parody of Paul Simon's You Can Call Me Al. That was with Chevy Chase. You've done it with Arj Barker, and you've sort of mixed it up a little bit. I won't give too much away. How the hell did you get Arj Barker? What happened there?
Well, we kind of just asked him, and he said yes. There's no like elaborate backstory or anything to it. It's just...
Damn.
Yeah, we thought it'd be funny if we got Arj Barker to do it, and he was keen. And he was a really good dude.
Damn, so I was just expecting some crazy story about, your brother's friend, sister's wife, or something like that, but obviously...
No, we've all just we're real big fans of Arj's work, and we just thought it'd be hilarious.
Hooked him an email and just went from there.
Yeah.
So why did you pick the parody, though? Like, what was the method behind that?
Well, it's just, if you've seen the original, it's genius. It's a piece of art,
Yeah.
So we just thought it'd be funny and easy to do.
Yeah, man.
So we just did it in a day, and that's pretty much it.
It looked like a fun shoot to do.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, now talking about your sound, it's really not something I really see much of, especially in Australia. It's just you on the drums, you smashing on the drums, and Shane shredding on the guitar and having a bit of yell in the mic with a bit of bass line as well there. And that's it. But you do pull off a massive sound, and just being the two of you, where do you sort of draw your influence from when you're songwriting?
Well, when we first started the band, we pretty much we wanted to write music for a house party, so pretty much what we did was we just wrote down a list of bands that we'd like to see at a house party, like The Bronx, Death from Above, Justice, all that sort of stuff.
That'd be a pretty full-on house party.
Yeah, and then we just tried to play all that stuff at the same time.
It sounds all right, though. You sounded you did a pretty good job of that.
Thanks.
So have you got a favourite track off the album?
I think Teenage Kickstarts is my favourite.
The opening track, yeah. Why is that your favourite? It's a bit of a ethereal sounding track. I don't know how to say it, but did I hear something about Shane on the pedals screwing around with that for a while?
Yeah, well, when we brought it into the studio, the interlude wasn't quite as long. Mm-hmm. But then we just ended up we did like an overtrack on there, an overdub, and just made it into this. We stretched out, made it into like a psychedelic sort of interlude. Sorry, yeah, it's just like a punk song with a bit of psych element to it, which is always fun.
Bit of Led Zeppelin sounding sort of deal.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, man.
It's really good to see like a bunch of you guys just down to earth dudes having a blast and doing what you love to do. Was that always your life plan to party and play music, or were you sort of doing something else before this?
No, like we've always been playing in bands and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
We also had like normal day jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I don't know, just doing normal stuff.
Just a double life. Just I'm a musician and I also work at Kmart or something like that.
Yeah. Well, we actually both work for the government.
Oh wow! There you
Yeah.
go.
we had gov jobs, which was pretty sweet.
Oh, there you go. Go Australia.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about a bit of a tour now. You kicked off that last Thursday in your hometown of Brisbane. How was that show?
Actually, Thursday was in Gold Coast, which was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
But the Brisbane one was pretty nuts. Just usual Brisbane, I guess.
Get all your mates there.
We sold it out for the first time, which was cool.
Wow.
And then we just a lot of crowd surfing pretty much ensued.
Nice, as you do.
Mm.
So how different are the crowds from, like, in Australia compared to, like, the UK and Europe and the US?
I think a bit more rowdier. Actually, yeah, definitely a lot more rowdier.
That's what we want to hear.
And Australia's probably the only place, like, we played Byron last night, and then, no, sorry, not last night, the night before.
Bit hazy.
It's the only place where, you know, in Australia, where you walk off stage and your encore, people yell out, "Play another show, dickheads!" You know, that's the sort of thing that you get in Australia.
Oh, you know, we're on the same level here. You know, there's no one bigger than no one smaller than anyone, I suppose.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, that's always lovely to hear that coming from stage. Like, oh, come on, can't you?
Yeah.
You gotta love us Australians. So, since the tour is in support of the album, have you got anything special lined up for the shows? Have you been doing anything crazy? T-shirt guns or fire or anything ridiculous like that?
No, I nearly bought a T-shirt cannon for it, but those things are really hard to take on airplanes.
Damn.
Yeah, but, well, we did make some masks, because we had, like, these 3D glasses things, and so we made these skull masks that, like, these crazy lenses in them. But, I think we didn't get around to making as many as we probably could have.
Damn it! So,
well, as much as we probably should have.
Did you do them yourself, or?
Yeah, we actually got a friend to do it for us. But,
you owe him a carton of beer, man.
Yeah, I know.
That would have been a fair few masks.
But other than that, I guess we're taking just our normal lighting rig, and I think that's it.
Just standard, just trash shit.
Just party times.
Yeah, I've seen your like shows on YouTube and stuff. I've been looking over, and you really throw yourselves around the stage. Have you like really injured yourself or something? I've seen a lot of blood as well. There's always lots of blood in your gigs.
Yeah. Usually by the time I have to change my snare head, there's a lot of blood on it. I think that's more just from being drunk and missing the actual drum and hitting my fingers on the rims. But yeah, I don't know. We've had some pretty crazy. One time we were playing and. This guy fell on my drum kit and snapped my snare stand in half, which is pretty incredible considering it's like, you know...
Jesus.
It's just full steel.
Yeah. What was he doing up there anyway? Like, you're supposed to be above those punters.
We were playing on the floor at this place.
Oh, okay.
And we had... Yeah, it was wild. We had a whole ring of security guards all around us trying to hold everyone back so they couldn't...
Jesus, it sounds like a Refuse gig or something.
Yeah.
Full on, man.
Yeah, sometimes they get pretty full on.
Now, the support band, it's called Velociraptor, and which, funnily enough, you and Shane both play in. But you're off the kit and on bass, is it?
Yeah, well, I started on bass in that band, but I'm playing guitar, I think, for most of the tour. It's kind of funny. Like, we started that band the same time we started DZ, and we started with Shane, myself, and Jeremy.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of happened that, like, we couldn't... Like we'd go down and play shows down Sydney and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Velociraptor would have gigs, so we didn't want both bands to stop just because like Shane and I couldn't play. So
of course, yeah.
Jeremy invited some friends to join, and then when we just kind of realized it was a lot more fun just to play with more people.
12 people,
so
in fact.
Yeah, it kind of got out of hand.
How's that go on stage? I couldn't imagine like 12 dudes drinking and smashing around their instrument. What the hell happens at a Velociraptor gig?
Well, I'll tell you what, you don't get to drink much rider, because as soon as you get there, it's usually gone with 12 people in a band.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I don't know, usually we just play on the floor and stuff like that.
Sweet.
But, yeah, kind of anything goes on that band.
Is it kind of weird going from playing with, like, I suppose, half a footy team with just you and Shane?
No, it's all right. It's like, when you play in Velociraptor, you know, You can do pretty much whatever you want. But when you're playing DZ, if you screw up, people really notice it
All
when
the
there's only two
attention's
people
on
on
you.
stage. Yeah.
So a little room for flexibility, I suppose, in Velociraptor.
Yeah, if half the band drops out in DZ, yeah, people realise.
There you go. Okay, so you're supporting yourself aside. 5 days after your last show in Australia, which is in Fremantle, you're playing. The next gig you're playing is in the Netherlands. Then you're touring and finishing off on the other side of the world in New Orleans in mid-July. That's full on, man. Are you used to that sort of lifestyle yet? Is your liver hating you?
Kind of getting there, I guess. It's, but yeah, I'm not sure if it still exists.
Shriveled at the very least.
Mm.
How is it traveling around? Do you get homesick, or do you just sort of like live in the moment about it?
I think you can only really think about it in like if I would think about that I'm not going to be home for like the next 3 months. You know, it's hard to take, but you just got to take it a day at a time. I think it's the easiest way.
Sounds like you're doing what most people our age would love to be doing, man. That's pretty good. Goddamn cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, and so one last question. Now, your Facebook page. I was looking, obviously I started on Facebook and, you know, got sidetracked. But on your Facebook page, you say one day you hope to party with Andrew WK. Now, he's playing Groove in the Moo, but you're heading off pretty much the same time when that tour begins. Is it bittersweet, or are you just straight up devastated?
Well, it's been closer. Like, we played a show with him at South by this year. And,
oh, really?
Yeah.
How did that
go?
We
were really stoked. Well, it's kind of not the way we planned, because we played it, and then I think Dan Deacon played, and then Andrew was supposed to come on. And so we were hanging around trying to find him, so we could do shots with him. And then the guy is so elusive. Like, he showed up, a car just pulled up out the back. He pretty much just runs straight on stage, plays, and then runs straight back off stage. So we didn't even get a chance to talk to him, which sucked. But one day it'll happen.
One day. That guy's pretty full on. That's intense.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a reminder for everyone, you're playing these shows in support of your debut album, Bloodstreams, which came out on the 6th of this month. So do you want to give people any more incentive or reason to come along or buy the record, Simon? Come on, man. You got to sell yourself.
Man. Do it. You know you want it.
There you go. Wise words. Well, thanks for chatting with us in Saturday Session, Simon.
Thanks for having me.
No worries, man. Well, good luck on the album and the tour. And we'll see you here in Adelaide on the 28th of April at Jive. And yeah, thanks again, man.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
All the best.
Cheers.